Hey, 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 aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday, August 16th, 2025, 2:21 p.m. Just turned 2:22 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. Episode 2 of the Real Life Trading. Is it reports plural or should we drop the S? You let me know what you think. I don't really have a strong preference today, Saturday, August 16th, 2:22 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. So for the last 7 days, one thing that continues to be on my mind is learning more about the distinctions between some of the political theories of MMT and some of the, let's say, financial market theories of MMT. Maybe theories aren't the right word. Please insert whatever the proper word is, and if you feel so inclined, with a lot of with as much energy and zest as you want, you can type into the comments of what the correct word is, but it's modern monetary theory. So, and one thing that I've been kind of doing my own learning journey with MMT, and I've been steering away from listening to other people tell me what it is and more of a listening to other people tell me what they think it is, what they think I think it should be, what they are saying about it, but not necessarily taking anything as fact. And in if it sounds like I'm looking at it suspiciously, it's actually meant to be a situation where I'm looking at it completely neutrally. So up until I stumbled and really took a look at this, I just kind of was writing off any sort of MMT stuff based on a variety of things. I guess it is a kind of a bias, but at the same time, like maybe not the best introduction to it, because a lot of it I really got turned off. It was several years ago. I was listening to a podcast, I think interview a podcast person interview Stephanie Kelton, and I specifically remember I was listening to it while I was in the sauna, and and it just kind of like rubbed me some things like rubbed me the wrong way. But that was several years ago. I'm a wiser, more educated, more grounded person than I was then, and different things happened. And so I kind of I saw this guy Mike Norman, MMT Economics, on YouTube. I saw I saw his YouTube channel, but I didn't really look into it too much. And then months or weeks later, for some reason, I looked into it and I found out that, like, not only is this guy MMT guy, but he's a gun guy. And I think one of the first videos that I heard that I listened to of his, he was talking about boxing. I think he's like in his 70s and he's still going to the gym and sparring, and he goes out hunting. And I don't know if he goes hunting, but he goes to the range and goes shooting. I know he goes fishing. He got his chainsaw running. Maybe he's moving to Texas. Not sure, but it wasn't the normal personality type that I had been kind of previously exposed to, or previously perceiving that there was a certain type of personality, which is kind of like limp wristed, um, bleeding heart. Um, I need to, like, pity me for having any money in a society where so many people are poor. Oh, it was just like this thing of like, you need to really sacrifice um, what what is good for you in order to benefit the greater whole. I'm not saying that that is what MMT was about, but I had this sort of perception of like what MMT was and people who were supporting it, these certain type of people, and I didn't really kind of see the world too eye to eye with that. So this guy definitely has more hobbies and interests of things that are a little more up my alley. And then, he's an MMT guy, so I guess I was a little more open since he seemed to be like a boxing kind of gun guy. And so I'm gonna leave it at that. Is that I'm noticing that there's two types, at least two types of kind of categories you can put MMT into. One of it is kind of like a politics, a political type of category, and the other one is simply the stock market. In a way, you can't really ever separate those two, I guess, or it's not necessarily easy. They will probably find a way to interconnect. But nonetheless, like I think what Mike Norman is, from the videos that I've been watching, I'm pretty much watching everything that he posts nowadays. It's really around how to use MMT to get better results in the stock market. And so I've been thinking not just not so much about MMT. I guess it is like what is MMT? How would it work? How do I try to emulate the the mental framework that this guy's using, because it does seem to be working. It definitely seems to be working. Like he seems to be onto something, and it's not like a complete bullish thing or a complete like bearish thing. It's more of a monitoring thing. And so to me, that's how that gives a lot of insight into when it's not like a one way, when it's recognizing that there could be multiple ways, and we're monitoring to see what's going to happen, because it's gonna go different directions. And so trying to figure out, get a more encompassing view of MMT and less on the political side, the government side, and more on the how can I get a better understanding of how money is going to flow in the stock market by having a more comprehensive understanding of MMT. And there does seem to be some sort of knee jerk emotional, hardcore belief, like biases built into a lot of the stuff. So that is where, for several weeks, but that's what I want to talk about for this week. Another thing that has been strongly in my mind is buying power, because I do a lot of option trades. Buying power, like what? And buying power is a derivative of cash and some other things, but definitely how much cash you keep in a trading account will have an impact on how much buying power you have. So I closed this week out with really lightening up on any trades I'm doing, since I'm going to be leaving on the 22nd and like just moving to another state, totally uprooting my life here. So, in the process of doing that, which is, in my opinion, it's a great thing, I'll move to the Eastern Standard Time Zone. I'll be more in tune with, it'll be easier for me to be more in tune with active trading hours of the markets. And, in this process, like before really lightening up on my trading, I have been heavily trading anywhere from time frames of like a couple days to about 1 week, or a little bit over a week, 8, 9 days or less, or sometimes like 6 months, a year. I would sell these longer options, maybe 3 months, maybe 2 months. It all just sort of depends on like what's the stock giving me and what price do I want to buy the stock at, and how willing am I to buy the stock at that price, and how much money can I get for that promise right now? So reformulating my, let's just say, philosophical approach to um, selling options. Maybe philosophical is not the right word, but something more of like, not a mechanical do this, do that. Like, but what is the mechanical do this, do that? Where is that being derived from? There's some sort of philosophy, or there's something that's at like a higher level of organization that that the that the actual dynamics of the trade, the technicals of how these different trades play out, they're like a subcategory under this thing. So reworking that of thinking, how am I going to approach this, and um, really have been fine with a fine tooth comb going through everything that contributes to my dividend portfolio. How much, when, what's the, if it's a company, like what's the fundamental outlook on these companies, and if they're funds, as much fundamental research as I can do on the fund, which that I think I need to get better with. But that is where a lot of my, with my trading account, where it's been going. I'm Once I'm living in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, then I'm going to do some test out whether I how active do I want to be in zero DTE SPX trades. Well, we'll see. It's really like, if it becomes closer to gambling than wise option selling, then I probably really, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in gambling type of strategies or behaviors. Um, if I'm gonna do that, I want that to be more like long term gambling, like research and development type of Gamble. We're putting this money in. We don't know if it's gonna work out. We're trying to, not so much like spending money at a roulette table at a casino type of gambling. Gamble on making a better system or something along those lines. So, what sort of gambling, if what would be closer to like a research and development type of strategy in a brokerage account? I don't know an exact answer for that at the moment, but what I do know is that I am researching and developing an ability to play FCX. And the reason why I'm really focused on FCX right now is it's a pretty good all-purpose company. It has pretty good fundamentals that you could take a look at through Thinkorswim and on FinViz. It's a pretty good buy if you're just like buying a company. It's a pretty good buy. It has a pretty decent option chain. It's got options selling way out here into the future and until January 2027, and the the liquidity is not that bad. Like at 6 days to expiration, I've seen this looks great compared to some option chains I've traded on for like 6 days to expiration. 13 days. It looks like closer to expiration um, timelines get more active on the liquidity. But this stock, I just don't think it's going away. Copper miner, I don't think copper is going away, and I think it's possible that it can go up to a higher price. But that would just be like a real like gamble, right? But look at all these areas where it's not gambling. The dividend's not a gamble. Like that's being paid consistently. You could say, well, it could be cut, so there's that aspect that could be a dividend cut. There's a gamble that way. So yeah, you kind of got a point, but it's not a company paying a dividend when you can look at the fundamentals. They have good fundamentals. It's in an industry that kind of is protected by a moat just from the industry alone and the legal paperwork you have to do, everything that you need to open up and try to compete in one of these businesses. It's got this bit of a moat around it, and copper is it's going to keep being used. So to take a like small gamble on are they going to continue to keep their dividend intact since they've just been growing it for the last 5 years? Are they going to keep doing that? And they're profitable, so they could do it. It's not a high payout ratio. And then, so it's not really so much of a gamble. It's less of a gamble than trading zero DTE SPX options could be, depending on how you're doing it. Like this could be considered way less of a gamble than that. And then, so I'm working with that, but also working with this one, newer stock. It's been on a tear up, falling back a little bit. This stock has really caught my interest for a couple of reasons. So I'm gonna keep my words, thoughts close to my chest, which basically means I'm not going to be saying much about why I'm interested in this stock or what aspect, what angle I'm I'm expressing this interest in, and what angles I'm looking at that I might not have interest in, but I want to know if there might be a correlation or any sort of relationship between these two different angles. Maybe I'll switch the angle and by discovering something something new. But this stock, and I might, if I lose interest in the stock, I'm probably not going to really be going out of my way to let you know. But this is definitely a stock that I'm looking at as far as where could this price be in 5 years? What about 10 years? And in the meantime, what might its path to get to that price look like? Because from now until 5 years, 10 years from now, there's going to be a lot of days in between. And every day, 5 days of every week that go through, it's going to be trading on the stock market. It's going to be going up, down, or sideways in extremes of those. So how do I think it's going to get to this point? And so I am studying it in a way that's not really. I don't have a way to explain the study right now, other than anything I can think of. Yep, that's it. Anything I can think of. If I can think of it, and it's a way I can look at it and from a different angle and maybe gain a different viewpoint on it, then that's what I'm doing. And I'm just showing the chart, but that doesn't mean that that I'm not looking at it from lots of different angles. In fact, I think to some degree, the more angles I can look at it before I decide to make any decision, that would at least give me the most information to pick a direction. Be really informed before I pick a direction. So that's it. That might not be exciting in actual like what numbers am I using, but I just showed you two stocks that I'm actively actively trading, and not only am I actively with real money trading them, but I am also paper trading them for to double the amount of experience I'm getting with these two tickers, real life trading and paper trading. Sometimes I'm doing the exact same trade in a simulated version and in a real money version to see if there might be any differences of how things play out. And that's it. You can do a lot more paper trades than you can do real trades because you can just make this number of that cash in that account, whatever number you want. So you run out of numbers, You just add some more, and that's it. So lots of more thinking along the philosophical lines, or maybe mission statement type of lines. Moral is probably not the right word, but I think a little more philosophy of how am I going to continue my trading journey as I navigate from living in the Hawaiian Standard Time Zone to living in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, and how is that going to affect how will this affect how I should manage my portfolio? You guys have a great day.